You wouldn't be climbing the fences, but you'd be there for the party.
I mean, who knows? Who knows how inebriated I would get that day?
Oh, I'm sure.
If like enough people are doing it, they're not gonna, they're not gonna just kill everybody. I just don't see that happening. But who knows?
It reminds me of that South Park episode where they like have like the hippie jam festival or something like that to protest something. It's like millions of people show up and they just end up smoking and like hanging out, and listening to music or whatever. Jeez.
Kyle, do you like the dank clouds of Anarchy Basement?
Not really. Not my favorite part about Anarchy Basement.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I would have.
That's just CBD oil, though. That's all that is, right?
No, wrong.
Oh, all right. I was gonna. All right. It made sense for Kyle's hockey team.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot. I gotta get you guys some jerseys.
Yeah, I need a jersey, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me one that says like Wagner with the number 69?
Maybe. Maybe.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah. So, I don't know. What do we have for topic number 2 up there?
Ross Perot.
Oh yeah, Ross Perot croaked this week.
Wow.
Yep. But I mean, it's another word for died. No disrespect for Ross Perot. I wasn't the biggest fan of the guy. I think I liked him more than the average politician. It just because like I did see some sort of camaraderie with the man because he won against the two-party system. Like that aspect of Ross Perot was definitely cool. It did suck because like he went after it, and then after he did so well, then they changed the rules and they made it even harder for third-party candidates. Correct?
That makes sense to me. What year did he run, or years? Did he run multiple times?
I believe he ran twice, and I'm most certain that he ran in at least 1992, if not also 1996.
Okay.
And he got how much? What percentage of the vote did he manage to get?
Wasn't it like 11 or 15?
18? I saw 18.
Okay.
Phil's on the phone.
So I just checking audio. Apparently the audio went out and it sounds a little weird, so we're just checking to make sure everything's fixed.
Gotcha. Is everything?
It sounded pretty good to me.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, dude.
Guys, always comment in and let us know if shit's fucked up and Jared's not properly doing his job.
You're the one who set this up last.
Yeah, but
what?
thank you, Danny
remember?
Lucas.
Like
Thank
last
you.
week I set it all up?
Yeah. Remember?
No, I don't.
Yeah, for 4th of July or whatever. Was that not last week?
No, we did a podcast.
Since then.
Well, all right.
Okay.
God damn it, Jared.
The article I read about Perot was saying like he was kind of like Trump before Trump. He was a billionaire. He went against the establishment. He was kind of a populist, and he had big plans. He was kind of a central planner type of politics. And I think Perot's one of the reasons he didn't win was because he ran independent. In my opinion, more and more, I'm just starting to drift to this idea that it's two parties, and that's just the way the game is laid out, and that's the system you have to go through if you want to get elected. And I mean, that's why Trump was successful. He fought his way through the primaries and got into position to have a chance against Hillary. And if you don't take that establishment route, if you don't get through the Republican or the Democratic Party, I don't know that you really are going to have much of a shot. This country just seems to be so entrenched into that D versus R.
I'm really big on the whole debate thing. I think if you could have someone on the debate stage with someone else with something other than the same two bullshit sides you get all the time, I think it would be like a groundswell almost. I think if you think about that. Think how many people were the Giuliani moment with Ron Paul. Like, everyone, because he was able to debate, he was on stage.
Yeah.
And he got broadcast out and videos went straight to the internet. And I mean, that people met on websites and they talked all about this. This was huge. And
it was the golden years back when libertarians owned the internet.
Yeah. And
they were actually libertarians.
Yeah.
It seemed they were, but I don't know where all those people went.
I mean, sadly, it seems like Bernie grabbed some of those people because it's like there were a lot of libertarians gained with Ron Paul, and then some of them didn't really pay attention to the message, it seems, and they were just more or less rooting for the underdog who was being more honest to them, And then some of those people fell for Bernie, and then I think some of those people fell for Trump.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I misread the situation. I got super into Ron
That's my
Paul,
guess.
and then I was thinking, oh, look how popular Ron Paul is online. He's winning every online poll, and it just felt like there were a lot of libertarians online, and now it feels like there are not nearly as many.
Well, I mean, I can tell you with the old punk rock libertarians page, we were owning Facebook. We were getting like a 9 million reach per day. So, or maybe it was a weekly, like 9 million reach or something. It's pretty crazy. And then it dropped down to like a 1 million reach, so they cut it down to like a tenth of it. And then towards the end, it might have been like 185,000 person reach a week. So, they tremendously cut our reach. They cut our reach to the point where we were actually getting unliked at a faster rate than we were getting new likes because new people weren't seeing our shit.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was pretty rough, man.
Well, that's Facebook, but I mean, there were websites like Ron Paul Forums and the Daily Paul.
Yeah, but a lot of
Lou Rockwell was big.
Most websites are going to get their traffic off of Facebook.
Yeah, I
Now, I think that's definitely now that's the case. I don't know if that
I
was
remember
the case
going
back
to the
then.
Daily Paul like directly for a
Yeah.
while, like during his run.
Well,
Back
yeah,
then,
not that
MySpace was
you
a big
don't-
thing.
I mean, nobody's going to go to the Daily Paul directly if they've never fucking heard of it, if they haven't seen it on Facebook first. That's how people would and still do find out about websites, And
Yeah.
it's in Facebook's greatest interest to keep people on Facebook and not have them click and go to other websites.
Exactly.
So, they've just cut the reach of what the shit that you're sharing.
They want to keep you there as long as you can because then it can get more data from you. They give you more. That's why they give you all these options and features and links and certain because they want your data. Like that's their main focus. So the longer you're on Facebook, the more data they can get.
They want that D.
It's amazing how a free service or a free site, it just like kind of wormed its way into our lives, and now it's like, they're obviously selling ads, right? It's like, hey, we got all these users. You can advertise on Facebook, and lots of people are going to see it. So, they're making money off of something while at the same time, to you as a user, it's free. You just go on. It's really kind of interesting how they did it.
Well, it's not really free. You do give up your information to the Zuck.
Right, but it doesn't cost you any money.
Well, I mean, it costs you maybe some annoyances.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's not free. What they're doing, they're letting you post on their website or whatever, do your thing, at the expense of you providing them with information.
Yeah, didn't you get banned for the T word this week or last week?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah. They're saying tranny. Yeah.
yeah.
I actually asked you, Kyle, why all the hate for trannies, and that's why I got thrown in the Facebook jail for a week. For asking
Kyle,
somebody
did you
else why
report
all the
him?
hate for trannies.
Yeah, I knew that. Okay, I forgot we're not on Facebook. I can say trannies on the podcast, transsexuals, but on
I guess.
Facebook, you cannot say that. Like
They're community standards.
Yeah. But like, I don't know if you're allowed to say transsexuals or if that you could get banned for that too. But I knew you could get banned for trannies because I've seen it happen before. To
I think
other people.
transsexual is the correct term, right? Correct, or the PC correct term.
Trans person is now the correct term.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, Phil. Yeah, that's gender neutral.
I think it's transgender, right?
No, trans person. Because gender is a construct, you fucking savage.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch yourself on
Fuck me.
Facebook. Facebook
Such a
has all
bigot.
these banned words. They really should have like
Go
a
fuck
list,
theirself.
Right,
list
yeah.
of banned words. But like,
Didn't they come out with new terms of service where now you can make threats against like a Nazi organization? Like you can say like I want to slit every Nazi's throat and it's perfectly fine. But if you were say like I want to slit every like black person's throat, it would you get banned immediately get banned.
Yeah.
So, but it's just weird. This like if you have hatred, if you hate someone, that's worse than like the act of murdering people.
Yeah.
Hating is what's going to get you banned, not the killing of somebody.
Oh.
It's the hating of someone.
I want to tell you about a post that happened in my group. So this girl posted about a guy that was at the Charlottesville rally 2 years ago, and she contacted his new employer
yeah, I saw
and
that.
said, this guy was at Charlottesville in 2017, just letting you know what kind of person he is, expecting that the guy was going to be like, oh my God, thank you very much, and fire the guy. And instead he was like, well, we believe in second chances here. We have lots of people that were former felons and whatever, and, thanks for your concern or whatever. And then she shared per conversation with the guy into my group with the address of the business, like trying to dox the guy, trying to get more people to join her side, and attacking this business for hiring a Charlottesville attendee, and it just was, I guess.
What kind of business was it?
Might have been like a restaurant or something.
Okay.
I think it was a restaurant, but
Wow, those guys are so successful.
I was just, my comment was kind of like, well, I guess it's your prerogative or your right to complain and his right to hire who he wants, and I think...
Yeah, but I think doxing kind of goes beyond, I don't know, that's an argument to be had. Is doxing considered aggression in some form?
In my group, I usually do ban doxing. Like, if
Yeah.
you were to publish somebody's address or phone number and say, hey, guys, go harass this person, I would. But because it was a business... I was like, it's a public business. Like,
well, okay, yeah. But if they're
know.
doxing, like the owner lives at 123 Main Street.
And she did post the owner's Facebook page saying, send this guy messages. And I don't know. I could have banned her for it, but it was just an interesting topic to me. The fact that, the alt or Antifa from the far left have basically cataloged all the people that attended there, and 2 years later are still stalking them and still trying to ruin their lives, and they will say, oh, well, Kyle, you're standing up for neo-Nazis, you're siding with neo-Confederates, and I'm not on their side, but at the same time, I don't know that I necessarily agree with, like, harassing people and trying to ruin their lives 2 years later, and they may or may not have even been that much of a white supremacist. I mean, people were upset about them taking down the monuments. Does that justify, if you maybe think it's history and you're upset about you want to preserve history, you then deserve to be stalked and harassed the next 10 years of your life?
Right.
And it's just the notion of this online crowd, this online lynch mob, it bothers me.
Yeah.
Because I could see that really turning bad for anybody. And that's what I see it as being. It's just like this perpetual online lynch mob, and I don't agree with that. So anyway. Interesting story.
Definitely. All right. Did anyone see that tweet Trump tweeted today? It was about basically telling all the freshman Congress women who are, making waves, so to speak, to go back to their respective countries.
Yeah.
Did he mean to say like county or district or something?
What?
Did he mean to say like?
No, he said basically like your countries where you came from are shitholes. Go back there and fix that before you complain about America.
So is he talking about like Ilhan Omar and shit
Yeah,
like
so
that?
like Ilhan Omar and I guess on AOC.
Where's AOC from?
I mean, she's just from Brooklyn.
That's what I thought.
The thing is, none of these people are from any other countries.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I mean, they have ancestors that are from other countries, which I guess is what he was driving at there. But
yeah.
I mean, it just definitely came off as pretty racist.
He posted
to be objective about it.
But he posted that Bitcoin thing the other night.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
Like, what the fuck? He said like it's not a legitimate currency because it's made out of thin air.
Yeah, I love the one meme with the Muppet.
The monkey.
The
Like,
Muppet or monkey, whatever it is. Like, looking to the side. It's like, it's the Federal Reserve, like, and it's just like the eyes just shift to the side. Like, I don't know. That's like probably
it's a solid
quite possibly
meme.
my favorite meme template.
Well, there was
when they made that about the Federal Reserve printing money out
there
of
was
thin
also
air,
the one where it's like the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Oh yeah.
One says like Federal Reserve note, the other one says Bitcoin.
Your
That's
fake
funny.
currency.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so funny. But yeah, Trump. I don't know, man. He's on a different level, man. Like, I don't.
You know what seems weird though, and a friend of mine pointed this out. I mean, if you read that tweet, it doesn't sound like Trump wrote it. Like it sounds like some member of his staff wrote it because it's
God.
pretty articulate. He's using a lot of terminology.
Holy shit, Alexis Schlegel's here.
Oh,
Schlegel.
what's
Schlegel.
up?
Schlegel.
We're being Schlegelized.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, the picture on his shirt is the painting from Goodfellas.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
Yeah.
Ah.
One dog's going this way. This
Is that
dog's
Alan
going that
Watts?
way. This guy's
Yeah.
just like.
Is that
Is
supposed to be Alan
What do you
Watts?
want from me? What's that?
Is that supposed to be Alan Watts?
No, it's the painting from.
I know, but I'm curious what it was originally.
Oh, who did? Oh, originally, I don't know.
We're
Not sure.
digressing. But what were we just talking about?
Something about Trump.
Donald Trump tweets.
Oh,
Yeah. And Yeah, however the top he was getting. And there was a good punctuation saying that somebody else might have wrote it.
Right, yeah. I mean, it just seemed like way too articulate for him.
But for him to say,
And
go
this
back to your
didn't really
countries.
it didn't seem to have like his voice in it. So it's quite. I'm not letting him off the hook by any means, but I'm just saying this could have been, sort of another top-down, someone up, someone pulling the strings a little bit there. Who knows?
The modern world is so weird, where we have our president basically sitting on the toilet at 4 a.m. just tweeting out whatever random thought comes to his head. It's
Whatever.
like, I mean, this used to be, it would be like, okay, we're going to do a press release, and like everybody's going to read your message, 15 people are going to review it for appropriates, and then we'll send it out to the press.
Right.
And now it's just like random thoughts with Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
right out to the masses. It's just it's very uncontrolled, and his handlers or whoever have to just be like, God, I hope he doesn't say anything too ridiculous, because it seems like he just has free reign.
He could literally just tweet like, "We've launched the nukes."
Yeah, it seems like
and
that.
then who knows what would happen?
It seems like there's no public relations department censoring or proofreading or doing anything. It's just like whatever you're thinking goes out, and that's unprecedented, really.
Yeah.
It's weird, but then when he even does have a speech, we talked about this, we chronicled it last week. His the For Gettysburg Address.
Yeah.
No,
so I heard that he said, "What is our ports, not airports, but our ports."
No.
I didn't hear.
He said they manned the sky and the sea. He said, dude, it was pretty.
He said this guy, dude, not the sky.
And then he got the base wrong. Fort McHenry was in the War of 1812, and he said it was in.
Well, he started talking about Fort McHenry after talking about the Revolutionary War as if it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And he just did it in typical Trump fashion, and it was fucking hilarious.
Well, for me and for probably the average Joe, they probably wouldn't bat an eye at that. To history buffs, they're going, that's the wrong war.
Oh, well, of course. I'm sitting there like, oh, you
But
dummy.
you ask the average person which war that fort was in.
Well, yeah,
I don't know
of
if
course.
they're going
Nobody knows. Who
remember.
cares?
Yeah.
But it was still, so even in speeches, when he has a teleprompter, he's still just saying, whatever, I don't give a fuck, I'll say what I want. And you're going to eat it up, and I'm going to still be president, so fuck off.
You think the words are scrolling up, and he's just like completely ignoring the words?
He's just feeling the crowd like, I'm just going to keep talking. Like, yeah, fuck that, I don't need that. Just maybe, I don't know. I think someone said the teleprompter went down for a minute, or he couldn't read it through the water on the glass. I don't know.
He improvised.
It was just typical Trump.
It was like the airports, Alex, what's up, man?
Oh, not much, man. Not much, dude.
We already talked about Area 51.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We need let's. Why don't we go back to it? Because I'm sure.
Well, that's
Alex,
where I was coming from.
Yeah.
Area 51.
The first meeting of the
The
Maryland
meeting.
chapter of. We're getting the whole.
Chapter President Alex Schlegel.
So I'm the chapter president of the Maryland chapter of Storm Area 51. So we just had a little get together, a little meet up tonight.
Yeah.
So starting to come together.
Nice.
So
y'all taking a cross country, maybe getting a bus or something, maybe a big van.
Yeah. Going full. We're gonna do it.
What do you think? That the aliens are there?
Man. Bob Lazar said it. They're there. S4. Deep in underground bunkers. 12 ships. Did you see that documentary? Pretty wild, man. Bob Lazar. That guy's out there.
I never
Yeah.
know.
Name sounds familiar.
No,
Who's Bob
idea.
Lazar?
He
He was just on
Rogan.
Rogan.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, but his story, and I remember seeing like his videos from like the early '90s. But he stuck to his guns, and everybody like wrote him off, and like all his friends are like blacklisted, like colleagues, and they basically like erased like all of his education history, like all of his like professional background. Like there's like no record other than newspaper clippings and I guess like an old phone book from like when he worked at Los Alamos, the National Laboratory, because he disclosed all this information. Like he disclosed everything he was working on, the secret project.
It is weird how they.
But it's a cool documentary. It's on Netflix. But
Why did they kill him?
I guess because he already like informed a couple of his like friends and family and colleagues, so they're like it was already out there.
Yeah.
He was
Well-
interviewed, and it was on a like local Las Vegas affiliate.
Cable access? Was that on like Wayne's World?
No, it was like like a guy like Ron Burgundy of your like local news station who was like their investigative journalist, and he basically.
Like Ben Swan.
And the crazy thing too is like a lot of information that he revealed, people are like, "You're fucking nuts! Like you're nuts! That's bullshit." Because he was saying like they had biometrics that would scan your hands when you went into like certain areas of Area 51, and basically it came to fruition. Like I guess someone leaked photos from the not the SR-71, but the stealth bomber program, and like basically they released, and he's like, "Holy shit!" And it basically would measure the length of your bones in your hand, because that would like identify someone. That's like the best way, like biometric way to. So like you put your hand up to the door, and so this was like he like said all this.
What year was this? Because now we have the thumbprint reader on our iPhone to unlock it. Like
this was like 88, 89, but then just recently they released like the photos or declassified or showed it like, yeah, this was a thing, and he saw the actual machines. It was on this documentary on Netflix, and it was wild. So it's like, all right, this guy's saying way too many things that are like, he can't be that off the wall, you know?
Yeah.
Like he said some shit that's kind of legit. He's very intriguing.
But isn't it weird how the phenomenon when instead of just discrediting people, they just want to erase you?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're like, we're going to erase you to a certain extent because you're still going to be a useful idiot of ours. We need someone we can point to and be like, oh, you think that we're arming the Syrian rebels who are actually Al-Qaeda? No, you sound like one of this crazy guy like Bob Lazar. That's what you are. You're like this guy. You're like what do you think, that there's reptilian people ruling the world? Like, so I think the government secretly likes having these people around who they can just point at and be like, you're crazy like him, like Alex Jones.
And he's not even that, like, you listen to him, this dude's totally rational. Like, I mean, the things you can tell he's like, he's a physicist. Like, he's studied, he's what, like, I mean, he built, like...
What is this?
But he's no Bill Nye, though, right?
That he worked, like, he basically worked on propulsion systems. That he basically... And he thinks that they were just bringing in, like, scientists that were like, this shit's beyond our technology. We don't know what this is.
So they salvaged it off of alien ships, is what he
basically what they were trying to do is reverse engineer, and he claims that there was 12. Like he said, they had all the hangar doors open, and he saw 12 ships, but he was only working on one specifically. And he said he saw it operate, and he was in like there was like 3 levels, and he basically was exposed to the propulsion system because his whole background, like he built, like he was well known because in the town newspaper in like Los Alamos, New Mexico, where the national, I guess it's there's a big national laboratory there, and
isn't that where they developed the Manhattan Project?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And he basically had a Corvette that he put a jet engine in, and he was driving around. So this dude was just like tinkering with like he went to MIT, went to like, but all his education records just completely gone, like basically vanished, you know. And really interesting, the documentary. It's a little not overboard. Some of it I didn't like with the filmmaker, the way he did it, because he was interviewed on Rogan too. But overall, like the story, like things that he was saying all along. The other crazy thing too, he was saying like the element that's used on these ships or on this propulsion system on the ship he was working on was this element called element 151. And just as a like, and he was
Bacardi 151.
No, not 151. Maybe 115. Maybe I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, it's a rare earth metal, and they basically, or a rare earth element, and basically just as of 2004, they added to the periodic table of elements. But he was talking about it on videos in like, early 90s. So it's kind of like, what the fuck? Like he had to be exposed to something, or I don't know.
What were the shapes of the?
This guy's my new hero.
He said they were like dish-shaped, spherical, and he said like, and he said like
shape, like so, just like UFO shaped, like typical UFO.
Yeah, typical. Like they were all that type of shapes. Like,
why did the aliens always do the anal probe?
Like, I don't know. Like that's it.
Do we know? Does anyone know why that's their go-to?
Don't knock it till you try it.
What
would you rather they do?
I don't.
World
pretty
probe?
much anything else.
Can we confirm Kylie Wagner likes the anal probe? Can we confirm or deny that? Kylie, I consider it's like, it's your alter ego.
It's not my alter ego.
What if the aliens would ask him out?
Yeah, that would be. I would argue that'd be worse. That'd be worse.
When is the storming taking place, anyways?
September
20th.
All right. Just want to make sure we have plenty of time to plan this.
You're going to need body armor. The U.S. military is planning a response to the public invasion.
Yeah, but are they planning a response to storming the Federal Reserve Bank?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
What about storming the Vatican? They can't rape us all.
Yeah,
It's gonna be like Die Hard with
What about
Vengeance,
storm the
man.
White House? Just kidding, FBI.
Right. Yeah. It's
Die,
like,
remember that?
was there any articles because I saw an article I think I posted in the group that it was on. It was actually a mainstream article that's picking up on
CNN
this.
had an article.
CNN
Yeah,
had an article.
yeah.
On it. Oh wow.
It's fucking amazing.
So it's gonna be like, regardless of what happens, there's gonna be memes.
Yeah.
I wonder if
And
they'll just
regardless
have
of
like a festival like right outside the gates, just like fucking food trucks
Holy
roll
shit.
out.
Could you imagine if this was
That'd
just
be
a
awesome.
promotion for like a rave in the desert? And
Oh
like,
yeah, dude.
think about that. This is probably John
I just
Vibe's
seen
idea.
Seeing what the government's response is gonna be.
I think the craziest thing would be if it actually worked and the government was like, "All right, it's time to come clean. We're bringing out the alien bodies, and we're just." Gonna
Could you
show
imagine
guys
if
what we
Trump's
have."
there and like he's like, "You can do it. It's okay." Just
Yeah,
go through
I
it."
want Trump to comment on this.
You know what I want to see? I want to see the Fort Knox. What's really in Fort Knox?
Well, we know there's no gold.
Right. Well, I want to see the empty vault. Can we get another? It's been like a few decades since we had the news reporters trying to get a look.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
You skipped the topic. You skipped.
No.
Ice raids.
Ice capades?
Ice capades?
Ice raids, man. Today was ice raid day.
Oh, okay.
Did that go down?
They were like deporting illegals. As I understand it, illegals that already have a court order to be deported, and those court orders are now being enforced. That's what I heard this is for. And Baltimore is a sanctuary city. Our police commissioner said there will be no assistance to the ICE agents.
Howard County said the same thing.
I think Baltimore County same way. So the city and the surrounding counties are strongly opposed to this.
Man,
So-
they need that voter base. They can have their voter base leave. Come on, man.
They're exercising their states' rights and things that will benefit those in power.
Yeah, it's funny how
You don't think it's a good thing?
I think it's a good thing in general to stand up to the federal government, but they won't do it for extradition maybe of cross state lines for like stuff like drug possession or anything like that. I mean, think about how like they want to do this libertarian stance.
I'm just saying I don't want to deport these people. If they're a rapist, like Donald Trump says they are, if they're a rapist and they get convicted of that, throw them in prison. But
yeah,
it's
I know.
like, I don't know. I just don't.
This ICE thing is like not moved me because I feel like the whole main swell of opposition to ICE is people who suffer from the derangement syndrome, and I don't feel like there's an ounce of legitimate concern behind from these people. Like I think it's all phony. It's all just phony, virtue signaling. I guess people who are that like upset about it.
Didn't you see AOC crying at the
Yeah, I feel like it's nothing but just to gain voter support. I mean, that's what they're doing.
She did call for abolishing the Department of Homeland Security, which
I'm totally
broken
for.
clock is right. to
Right,
execute.
exactly.
So I'm all for that. And she went on. I mean, but it's not coming from a principled stance.
No.
It's just coming out of this fake outrage.
Exactly. I think
What
it's
is
all.
DHS? Is ICE a part of DHS?
I think it is.
I thought they pushed pretty much everything under DHS at one point. There was a consolidation, and they took all kinds of departments, and they said this is all under DHS.
TSA, they're under.
Oh God,
Right.
those losers.
So does she want to get rid of the TSA too?
Even like the
Seriously,
Coast Guard.
Calvin.
Isn't the Coast Guard? Did you see that fucker who jumped on like
Oh, yeah.
jumped on
submarine.
top of a submarine?
Yeah, fucking Rambo.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit.
So many like
I'm
Trump, like not even Trumpers, but like Republicans. Like, look at this hero.
Dude,
I'm like,
Mike
what a
Rowe was
fucking
like,
idiot.
look at this hero.
so
Hero,
funny.
Like, oh, what the fuck?
My
It's like,
supervisor,
dude.
my supervisor at work was like playing like local news radio from his cell phone onto like a Bluetooth speaker as I was leaving work the other day, and this
Whoa.
news story came on, and I could hear it, and it talked about how like the submarine was carrying $10 million worth of cocaine, and I was like, damn, all that did was just raise the price of coke for everyone else.
Right.
It's seizing this. Like,
Then
what
there
the
was
fuck?
another ship. Wasn't there a huge, another huge container ship with coke?
Do you know who owns that?
Is it like
Who
Bear
owned-
Stearns or it was some Wall
It was some Wall Street.
financial,
What was it?
financial
God damn it!
institution.
Goldman Sachs.
No,
No.
JP Morgan.
JP Morgan.
Yeah, I think it was Morgan. I could be wrong. If anyone's
Owns the
correct.
ship.
Yeah, they own the ship that was carrying that like almost how much, I forget how much $1 million worth of cocaine it had on it.
And they just weren't aware of it, allegedly.
Allegedly, but they came out there was a post someone made showed an article that they posted condemning drug running or whatever like that, and then it was like caught on their boat. The next article they showed, it's definitely hypocrisy. You know, they were taking a cut of something. You just don't know that much cocaine is on your ship.
Right.
I find that hard to believe.
But,
But yeah, so the ice raids. So anyone hear if the ice raids actually happened?
I think they did. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they did.
I didn't hear one thing about it.
Tommy Loren posted a picture
Oh,
of
Jesus.
a ton of ice, like a
Like a
you
bucket
know,
of
like
ice.
a restaurant thing, like an ice mat, and she said "ice, ice, baby" or "Happy Ice Day" or something like
Of
that.
course she did.
Kind of obnoxious.
So,
what else we got, guys? What else is going on? On the big board?
We got.
Topics.
I got time for one
Oh,
more topic.
let's do
and I
the,
have to get out. So,
Let's do. You want? Okay, well then you can pick.
we just do the next topic. That's fine. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say the next one. Equal
Yeah.
pay.
Yeah, equal pay. I mean, for the women's soccer team, I made a post about this on my wall, and I got like, you know,
Kylosphere?
no, just my. That's not my page. Just my regular wall.
Kylie
I
Wagner?
posted about. I shared. It was actually I shared a post by being liberal, being classically liberal.
Yeah.
Sorry, that I thought seemed like it was pretty well researched. The guy had citations and stuff like that, and he was saying that the men's World Cup brings in. I remember. I think $4 billion, and the women's World Cup brings in $73 million. So it's like 2%, right? It's way smaller, and I just kind of use that as an example to be like, hey, why would the women get paid more when they're earning so much less or generating so much less in revenue?
they're already taking a higher percentage. I think they take 13%, where the men's team takes 9% of the something along those lines. I mean, it's clear, like what you were saying. You can go on.
Well, that statistic was actually really not the right thing to look at because that's talking about the entire event, the World Cup for men versus World Cup for women. And when you really look at just these two teams in comparison, it's a lot different picture. And I spent a lot of time because I'm arguing with the people in the comments and I'm trying to defend myself and trying to get an understanding of it. And it's really complicated. Like, they're both under collective bargaining agreements that they negotiated. The women took a pay structure that was more like steady Eddie, like guaranteed pay, and the men have like more of a bonus type
like
pay.
incentive
Okay.
based.
But that's in the U.S. though, because the other aspect of it too is looking at how much soccer brings in on the world stage too. Because it's like $6 billion compared to like 44 million. I saw those statistics too. The fact that but the men didn't even qualify for the World Cup last year.
Right, and that's
so it's like.
And the World Cup, they really are World Cup driven. Like, that's their big event. And the men, they made way more money than the women have made in their World Cup in I think 2014. I think it was, because we just had one in 2018 that the men missed. And I mean, I think it's time probably for the women to renegotiate their contract. They've obviously done really well, and it brought in money. I had to figure out who their employer was because I was like, these are national teams, so who is actually paying them? Is the government funding all of this? And they work for a nonprofit called the U.S. Soccer Federation. And the U.S. Soccer Federation gets ticket sales, merchandise sales, and then they get sponsorship and rating stuff. And a lot of that's all combined. Like, they sell the TV rights as a package deal, so it's hard to be like, oh, this team is this much and this team is that much when it's sold combined. And it's just really hard to strip out. But I personally I don't think there's just a general, like, a gender bias. I don't think anybody's like, oh, let's cheat the women.
Right.
I don't know. And it bothers me that they're like, okay, we're going to sue our employer. But it's like, what are you suing them for? This is the contract you guys negotiated and agreed to.
Yeah, you
and
should
got the
went on a
terms
strike.
that you wanted, like the last time you negotiated your collective bargaining agreement. So why is it now something you can sue them for?
Because it's politically acceptable.
It's just another bumper
because you can
stick-
get
bumper sticker
senators to
issue.
tweet like, "Oh, the women should get paid more."
Equal pay.
Yeah, and I mean, you can look at some left-wing sites have even been like fact check and been like, it's not really the whole story. You know, like the rhetoric doesn't match the reality.
Yeah.
And they're getting paid what I think is a lot. I think it's like $100,000 a year or something like that.
It's just a
And
play soccer.
if you think about it, we only watch them once every 4 years in general. Maybe
Yeah,
other people
nobody
watch them a little
cares.
bit more, but like this is their time in the spotlight, and they did great, and I'm happy for them. But it's like they're using this one window of opportunity when they're actually being
But
watched.
it's the same
to
conversation
demand more money.
every
Right.
4 years. It's the same fucking conversation. They're like, oh, this should highlight, like even with the men's team, like soccer, this should really motivate like the MLS and everyone, should check it out. And same thing with women's soccer. They say, oh man, this is going to lead to a revolution of young kids and watching soccer and blah, blah, blah. And it never happens. And I've been hearing this for at least 10 years, the same conversation. Like when the Olympics come around or the World Cup, it's the same thing.
Well, in the U.S., soccer is definitely a second-tier sport or third-tier sport. It's just not. It's not that popular. It doesn't. They're not getting the attendance and the ratings that the big four sports are getting. And even the men's soccer, I feel like is kind of a niche kind of thing. Like I've never been to a game. Rarely ever watched it on TV. So.
You can't even watch it on TV. You
Yeah.
can't watch the local team DC United. You have to have a streaming service. You have to subscribe to a streaming service to watch it.
I've seen them on TV.
You
before.
have. This year was the first year they started this whole new thing where you have to get this app and you have to pay for the streaming service. You cannot show it unless it's on like ESPN. Like sometimes they'll cover it, and they will not. So DC United actually twice now the feed has dropped, and so everyone who paid the service they could not watch the game that was going on. And there's a big niche following in DC for the DC United, and they were fucking pissed.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Anyway, I think the women. Maybe it's time to renegotiate the contract, but I don't think they're being like targeted.
It's not everybody's business.
Yeah.
It's between you and your employer what you get paid.
Right.
Right, yeah, but now they've made it a political
Yeah,
issue, and all of a
that's-
sudden it's like equal pay for equal work.
But she's a lesbian,
like,
guys, and she's got purple
okay.
hair.
I play basketball, LeBron plays basketball. We're both doing the same thing.
Yeah, why did she pay it? So it was a great point. That's a great point.
Well, I mean,
That-
even in professional sports, you're going to have Tom Brady makes more money than Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Because he's better.
Or
his team has decided that he's worth more money.
Or in the case of prostitutes, like Ivanka Trump would make more than Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa. He's up there, buddy.
Yeah,
My dollars are in a
well,
different corner.
I'm
Right?
But I'm saying even like being in the same exact position in the same league, but for a different team,
Yeah.
you can have a variation in how much money you're paid just based on the value that you provide to the team and
And
what
did
they
that
determine that
player-
value to be.
Didn't she just like openly kind of admitted that
Rapinoe, yeah.
if we just if more women would come out or if more fans would come out and support,
Buy
come
merch.
to games, buy merch, whatever. It's like so
You just
She
ruined
just
your whole
basically
argument.
Yeah, I
the
love
free
all the
market- the
people
free
that
market.
posted something about this on their Facebook. How many of them are going to tune into the U.S. women's
Right.
national
Right.
team
Louder-
games
yeah,
Nah.
exactly.
like none of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
for the next until like 4 years?
Yeah, they're gonna buy merch or like really like I'm gonna go get to these games more often or
You're fucking
a
not.
lot of
You're
it's
a liar.
about your name too. Like, well, in sports, like look at Ronda Rousey. She makes way more money than most male fighters, because she has a big name.
Yeah.
And once you get famous, you really command a lot more pay, which shows you it's not just about what you're doing; it's about what people want to see and what people want to watch,
Well,
and
it's
how
how much
famous you are.
and how much value can she provide to advertisers?
Yeah,
If-
how popular are you?
Right. So
Right?
if people like her, if people think she can, she represents something. She represents toughness and whatever. And a brand can kind of use that to their advantage, then they're going to pay her for it.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, there's a lot of factors that come into play, but when it comes down to it, it's between whoever has the money and whoever's getting the money.
Yeah, it's not as simple as
not up to,
men versus women like
Yeah.
they've made it out to be.
No.
So I gotta run, guys. I got a hockey game. So
Peace out,
Good
dude.
luck, man. Go CBD Oilers.
thank you. That is actually what I'm playing for tonight. So.
CBD
Nice.
Oilers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna get us a jersey.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nice. Back up. See you guys on TV.
Later.
Hi, Kyle.
All right.
All right. Well,
Good luck with your field hockey game,
I was
Kyle.
gonna play some field
Say hi to
hockey.
Kylie for us.
all right. We're kind of sprinting through these. Let's see. So I heard Sarwark was headed up to the Free State permanently as a permanent resident of the Free State.
Because he's in New Mexico now, or Arizona. Let's see. I forget which state he's in now. I know it's
One of
Southwest.
those. Yeah, one of
Yeah.
those.
So after what he signed the pledge, he's one of the first people to sign the pledge, I guess, to move to New Hampshire. And so I guess he just made the official announcement. He was actually at Pork Fest, which was kind of strange. He was at Pork Fest this year, and
his
then
boy Bill Weld, right?
yeah, fucking, it's shocking, very convenient. And so he officially made a post today saying he's moving to New Hampshire, which is pretty cool. I mean, he signed it in 2002 or something like that, and now he's finally following through. It was a hard decision to move like all the way across the country. I would love to move to New Hampshire. I would love to move somewhere away from here.
I would love if you moved to New Hampshire.
Yeah, somewhere far away.
That hurts. I'm offended a little, Hunter.
No, we're just joking, Bill.
Oh, no,
J-
you're not.
JK, bro.
Anyway, but yeah, so I think so. What do you guys? So you guys been to Pork Fest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How would you rate that, like, that type of experience, like being in New Hampshire? Like, I've been there when I was a little kid, but I haven't been back since.
Yeah, actually, I went to New Hampshire for the first time when I was on tour with Dr. Chud's ex-ward in, like, I think it was 2004. And then going there in 2004, and it was, like, snowing at the time. So, it was,
Wow.
I saw, like, I guess it's kind of the worst in New Hampshire, But of all the places where I went, New Hampshire had, in my opinion, like, the nicest people. And we played at a really cool venue up there. It was a bar that used to be, like, a church. So it was
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, exactly. It was as cool as it sounded. And I believe we were up there for like a couple days or something. So I got to like hang out with like some of the punk kids in that town. And the town was kind of like Old Ellicott City.
That's cool.
But it was just really neat. And I remember I heard the Devil's Brigade record up there years before it came out. Because this dude used to date Matt Freeman's sister or something. So
Really?
he dated Matt Freeman's sister. He knew Matt Freeman, and Matt Freeman apparently gave him the Devil's Brigade album. It was just years before it was released.
They had it recorded that long before?
Apparently, I mean, this was like 2004, and I heard this in this kid's bedroom. So I don't know. Look it up on Discogs. When did it come out?
Yeah,
It's
I think we'll do that.
like but this is 2004 or 2003. I think it was 2004. But it was a neat time. So I lived in New Hampshire then. At that point, I'm not sure if there was a Free State Project. There might have been.
It was like
I
2001 or 2002.
yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But, I like New Hampshire just from that experience. It was my favorite place to go on tour. Really dug it. And then going to Pork Fest, like, I love. Honestly, I would go every year if my schedule permitted it.
Yeah.
My
My schedule
really
definitely
cool.
does not.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard when you're a parent and blah, blah, blah. All those excuses. But, like, I wish I could go every year. It's just that much fun.
Bring the kids when they get older. Bring the
Yeah,
children,
I mean-
Phil.
I'm down.
Maybe 1 year, maybe one
It's-
of these times.
It's no small feat, though. It's a 9-hour drive to New
Yeah.
Hampshire from Baltimore.
a lot of money. Yeah, I think though something like, I don't know. Eventually, I'm probably gonna move away from the state. But like, I'm thinking like Montana, New Hampshire, someplace far away.
I'd like to go up to Freedom Festival because I've been to Pork Fest
Oh yeah, Freedom Fest is in
twice,
the wintertime.
3 times. So it's kind of like, all right, cool. Experience New Hampshire in the summer. I love it. But let me go when it's like, negative
I heard people say like,
degrees and freezing. Like, I'd rather experience in the winter just to kind of see, like, could I deal with this? But it'll be worth it, probably.
so like Nick Sarwark going there. Apparently, I've been hearing that he might not run for chair. Yeah.
That's
So
probably a good thing.
I don't know.
It's definitely a
It's a
good
little
thing.
weird. Like, he's making these steps, and I also hear that's also a thing in the mix that he might not be running.
That's
What do you think he's doing?
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
He's gonna be like, just kidding, I'm an anarchist.
Yeah, right.
that's a good thing, though, if you just,
He's just gonna
go away.
he's getting Bill Weld's manager, I guess. I don't know. There's lots of stuff going on behind the scenes, but I think that'd be crazy if he moved up there and just kind of stepped away from the chair.
Yeah.
The Iron Throne.
Who would be running against him?
I know Joshua Smith's running against him right now.
When did they vote for that?
Oh, well, that's gonna be at the convention in Austin next year, next May. It's gonna be, yeah. That's when they'll do it. Yeah, right around then.
Nice. What's going on with the Baltimore City party right now? Or the Baltimore County, whatever?
Baltimore County, we have a meeting on Thursday, and it's gonna be at the Guinness Brewery.
Oh yeah.
So Doug Stanley, who's been on here, he took over
I'm
for
going
Kyle.
camping. Fuck.
Yeah. So sent out the invite to everybody. You should come. It should be pretty fun. Whatever. Just a small group of people show up. I mean, I feel like it's just dying.
We're
Doug's
Guinness
a wild
for you.
man, though.
Huh?
Doug, he's a wild man.
He's a crazy guy.
Interesting man.
He's a wild.
He's the most
wild
interesting
guy.
man in Baltimore County.
And you live, like, how close to Doug, man?
I don't know, man. I haven't been over to his pad yet, but he like put solar panels on his roof. Like,
He's a battery guy.
yeah, I want to do that, man. I was looking
What's
at
a
the
battery
taxes
guy?
on my like.
He, like, collects batteries and does all these, like, storages for his, uses them as storage for his solar panels.
Yeah, he's like off the grid.
Yeah.
So he's collecting the energy himself.
Yeah. And he's just, like, tinkers with batteries. It's funny, like, people just bring him batteries as a gift. He's like, oh, cool, thank you.
Yeah, he was like, hey man, like anytime you want me to check out your house, see if it's feasible for solar panels. I'm like, all right, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, like hell yeah, if I don't have to pay like BG&E anymore, like for electric, that's great. You know,
Yeah.
I'm off the grid if it's feasible.
So he's actually able to,
Oh, no,
I guess,
he's
draw
like a
enough
DI
electricity to not do any BG&E.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, he showed me, like, a
And I
whole,
guess
like,
you get to a
shack
point-
in his
yeah.
backyard filled with, like, batteries and
Yeah,
stuff.
He did it all himself, man.
He had,
It's
like, a wind turbine and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be fun. I mean, that's locally what we're doing. I guess we'll be starting soon, trying to get signatures to get on the ballot.
Yeah, once that kicks off, I'm down, man. The signature collecting. Like, go to events, get people to sign.
Right?
Win-win, you know? Everybody's like dreading it, like, oh man, we gotta collect signatures. Like, you can just go to a festival or whatever and just
Yeah,
carry
that's
a clipboard and have a good time, have a couple of beers, and like just hey, like we're just trying to get party access. Most people will sign it, you know, unless there's some partisan just
hack.
fucking ass hat.
Yeah,
Most
right.
people are like, all right, cool, whatever.
I don't know. I'm not the type of guy to go door to door.
We don't
It's
like
not
the
going
best
door
thing
to
is
door.
go to like public
Yeah.
like to events.
Just go to like a farmer's market or some
Yeah.
shit.
Don't say it. Restaurant to restaurant, yes, but door to door.
Shit,
no.
you could probably sit outside Walmart.
Yeah, probably.
Oh shit! I saw some like anti-bullying table outside of my local grocery store.
Did you flip it over?
And so I was like, "That's weird." And on the way out, I saw it was like youth against. It was like Youth Alliance with Police Force against drugs, and it was like a cop just there like. But it says anti-bullying on the side of the table, but on the front of the table, it was about like anti-drugs. And I just want to be like, dude, you're causing problems. It's you that's causing the problems.
I was right outside of where was it?
It was a grocery store.
Oh, man.
It just blew me away, and I was like, what the fuck? Something I just saw that. I was like, I've not seen something like that, like anti-drug in a long time.
Dude, I got that Next Door app. God, I'm glad I kind of wish I did download that Next Door app.
Oh, it's
Oh,
like where
yeah.
you talk to like about your neighborhood.
It's just
Like
people.
Matt's wife
It's just people bitching.
Yeah, man.
That's all it is.
Because you have that too in your
Oh, yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you hear stuff or you're reading stuff like, Jesus, like, I don't know if I want to know all this, like the crime and shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, fuck, kind of
Yeah.
paranoid.
And sometimes there's like,
But it's mainly
Oh,
a
I'm
lot of
sorry.
people bitching.
yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like, oh, I've got a landscaping company or I've got an HVAC company.
Yeah, like,
Shit like
apparently
that.
in our neighborhood, somebody was complaining because their I think it was like they had like an ostrich or something in their basement.
An ostrich.
Oh yeah, I saw
It
that.
was some weird bird. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's some weird bird.
Has anyone seen my ostrich?
And then after that, this guy was like trolling it, saying his tiger escaped or something.
His tiger.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best is when people troll.
Man, I got a
Yeah.
fucking lion, man.
Because
Grandma's
it's just like a
boy.
lot of people bitching and a lot of
Well,
people
dude, actually, I
way
think
too much into your business.
I may have talked about this on the podcast, but I remember when I first moved there, somebody was like, "Oh, my house got broken into." Like, I called the cops, and of course, they didn't show up for like an hour.
Yeah.
And then everyone was just like, buy a gun, buy a gun, buy a gun. Like, everybody was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, these are my people.
And it was just like, because they're all within,
Were they all
within your neighborhood. That's great.
Wow. No, they were all probably black people, to be honest.
No, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like Maj says, the hood is libertarian.
Yeah, man. They were like, you can't rely on the police. Get a gun. It's
Okay,
like church.
okay, guys. So, like, yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I was in Pennsylvania visiting some of Jill's friends, right? We went, because they were having a yard sale, you know. So we went out there, made the trek, about an hour away. And then afterwards, you know, we're hungry, so we go to get something to eat. And then,
Munchies.
yeah, so I was just talking to Jill. I'm like, any Mexican food places close by? And she's like, there's this place called Raw Burritos. Have you heard of this place?
Rob Burritos is amazing, man.
Rob Burritos?
Really good.
Like Rob's
Okay.
Burritos?
Exactly. Rob Burritos.
Cool.
Oh my goodness, this place is so good. If you live near Pennsylvania, look them up. They have
Where in Pennsylvania?
York.
They have like,
You live
like
anywhere
around
in the
exactly.
York area.
Okay, Pennsylvania's really big, but they actually have like 5 different locations in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I think it's
So-
mainly
None in Maryland?
I think it's mainly in the York, like central Pennsylvania, like York area.
Okay,
Okay.
so the burrito
Just
was the burrito was really good, right?
Yeah.
But
Which one did you go to?
I think it's the one that was on.
Damn, I was just
Memory
in York.
Lane. It's on Memory Lane. That
Oh,
was
okay. It
another
was
road.
like right off of 83.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to that one.
Shit, I was
So
just
yeah, it was really
in this
cool.
area.
It kind of like the paint job in this place kind of reminded me of like Reptilian Records because they had the
Oh, wow.
the DIY. The owner and his friends painted the place himself.
1.5 stars on Google.
You know, and then that was what their place looked like, and it was like orange, and there were like these black stencils of the Roberitos logo, which is really cool. And yeah, you guys can check out their website. They just have an amazing menu. And so I got a burrito. I think the coolest thing about this place, though, on my table, there was like 3 different types of sauce, and it all had really cool names. Like one was called like the Curse of Dracula, you know. And so anyway, there's these like 3 different sauces, and the whole time I just kept like trying a different sauce. I couldn't make my mind up as to which one I liked best. I mean, they were just all so good.
Was
And then-
it the man sauce?
No,
Oh,
I get it. The burrito was so good, and I down it really quick, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm probably not going to make it out here again for a while, you know, because it's kind of a hike from Baltimore.
Mm.
So I order another one, and so I just pounded 2 burritos at this place.
Damn.
And then after the fact, my wife told me that apparently there's a non-menu item. If you ask for it, you can order it. It's called the Toddler, and it's like a ridiculously huge burrito.
So you ordered that too?
Oh no!
So wait, is that a Pizzagate like code lingo? Like the toddler, you actually get like a toddler in the back? Is that?
No, apparently it's just
Wow.
like a really fucking huge burrito.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna ask about that the next time I go.
Sounds a little
Yeah.
shady to me.
So yeah, I think that's about it we have for this week. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah,
Of course.
And
good times.
thanks, Kylie. And until next time. Oh wait, I got to mention we have the Patreon, and we're going to do an after hours program right after this one. If you want to gain access to it, all you have to do is help us out with $1, a minimum of $1 per month, and that will grant you access to our after hours. We also have T-shirts over at libertariancountry.com. Until next time, live free.
Or die.